Hi, everybody. This is Weldon from Weldon PC, and welcome to another episode of Tuesday Evening with Weldon. It's about 5 o'clock, and we are starting today with ChatGPT. It's artificial intelligence and how you can kind of use it. We're going to start sharing our screen, and you'll be able to see what we have going on here. So, we want you to be able to get a free ChatGPT account. All you really need is a phone number, an email address, a computer, a smartphone, or a tablet. And that's all you really need to get started. And we're only going to be covering features of the free model tonight. We will be showing you in a future episode how to access the paid model. And with that being said, let me switch on to our next slide. My name is Weldon Hastings. I'm owner of Weldon PC. If you have any computer problems, 888-7-WELDON. We're here noon to 8, Monday through Friday, closed on the weekends. What is ChatGPT? We're going to be covering this tonight, along with accessing your account and some of the do's and don'ts of working with ChatGPT. Remember, ChatGPT, artificial intelligence are all kind of the same thing at present. When we talk about artificial intelligence, it needs prompted. That's what the P in ChatGPT stands for. If you are prompting the artificial intelligence, it will, when you prompt for something, when you ask it a question, it will only respond to you if you ask it something. Between you asking one question and 2 weeks from now, that's how long it takes for you to get to ask another question. It's not doing anything in the background other than answering other people's questions. And the do's and don'ts, just some very basic things like, for example, if you ask it to write you another season of the popular TV show MASH, it's not going to do that in the respect that it doesn't want to violate copyright infringement laws or anything like that. So there are some things that it won't do just because it is protecting itself against copyright infringement and whatever. If you do have any questions along the way, please feel free to stick them in the Zoom chat. We'll be monitoring that. And you are also welcome to unmute yourself and ask any questions. Our Zoom calls are able to be registered at weldonpc.com/class. So if you'd like to interact in our next lessons, you're welcome to do that. Please register in advance, and we will be happy to have you. And all of our classes here are free. So ChatGPT is an advanced artificial intelligence program developed by OpenAI. They are not the only player in town. Microsoft has developed Copilot, and there's a few other players in the market, but we feel that OpenAI is probably the best and the easiest to use for everybody along the way. ChatGPT is a artificial intelligence. It's designed to mimic human intelligence. It's really a chat generative. It's kind of like the old pre-trained generated text that you were able to use back when you had a flip phone. So if you press the W, the E, and the L on the keypad, it would automatically complete the word welcome because it knew that's what you were kind of trying to get towards. That's pretty similar to what this is, but it's on a much more advanced scale. That's what the generative is. The pre-trained model, they train these models on several hundred gigabytes of data. So if you took a computer's worth of storage capacity and you filled that with only things like novels, in the encyclopedia, some medical knowledge, some legal knowledge, that is everything that was used to train the ChatGPT model. So that's where all of the pre-trained information that you hear about comes from. Conversational whiz. The cool part is it's designed to have conversations. You can ask anything, tell it to write stories, do homework, ask about your day. It's programmed to understand your questions and come up with responses that will make sense. It's not just parroting either. So parroting is when you ask it a question and it responds with something that you asked, you answered in a question earlier. It will come up with some fairly unique responses to anything that you prompt or anything that you send a message to. It's got a very wide range of uses. We're using it here in the computer shop. We are using it to answer some of our questions. It would be irresponsible of me to tell anybody watching this, and remember, this is being seen by quite a few people in the future. We do utilize this as a tool, much like a screwdriver, to help us answer questions in a very timely manner, so we are able to get a little bit more done in our day. So the range of use is not just from computer repair, but websites and coding and answering questions. I used it earlier today with a very good friend of mine who has a security company, security, and he does wireless security systems, camera systems, all wireless.us. I'm going to throw him a plug. But we used it to diagnose a network problem in his house. And it kind of came up with the same answer that I did, which was a little scary and a little interesting at the same time. So the uses are pretty interesting. So here's a short video on ChatGPT, and then there's a couple more slides, and then I'll get into the meat and potatoes, how to actually sign in and get to using it. Okay, I guess our video is not going to do what we want it to do today. That's all right. So steps to have an account. Like I said before, all you really need is a phone number to verify your account and an email address to register and sign in with your account. Great for computers, tablets, and phones. If you want to visit how to access, you can go to chatgpt.com. Actually, the best address I'm going to show you in the window that I'm going to bring up here in just a few minutes. The best way to get there is chat.openai.com. So the do's and the don'ts. Do ask for diverse questions, from legal topics to medical to, I mean, the list is pretty extensive. I've used it in quite a few different areas, and it's pretty interesting what you get. And then, you always trust with the internet, as always, you trust but verify. So ask it a question that you know the answer to that has a complicated set of circumstances to it, and then go out and verify the answer that you already know the answer to. And you'll see that most of the time the answers are pretty accurate or spot on. It's great for learning. There's some things that I've struggled with in school that I would rather not divulge in this video, but there's some subject matters that I was absolutely atrocious at. And I've actually used ChatGPT to help me understand some of these subject matters in a way that I just didn't know that I could be taught. And it does it at my scale, at my pace. And I'm slow with, I'll give you one of them. Math is not my strong point. So I've used it to help me learn some things with math that it's pretty amazing. You can ask it to provide some detailed output based on very limited input. You can put in some very extensive. Yeah, I want to create a 2-page paper for a college class on philosophy and make it about electricity. It will come up with a way to merge and meld this stuff together that it's very it's intriguing. I don't know how else to put it. It's just mesmerizing to watch this thing work. It does have some creative tools behind it, in addition to the ChatGPT. We're only covering ChatGPT today. We're not going to cover Whisper, Dolly, or any of the other functions that it has, because that's not part of what we're going to do today. This is the basics, what I think everybody should have access to, what everybody should know how to use. You're not going to be able to go in and ask ChatGPT about real-time information. You can't say, hey, what's the weather doing in Cleveland today? It's only trained up to information that goes until, I believe it was September of 21 until last week. And I think last week they updated it to sometime in November of 22. So the learning model is not real time with this because they want to validate the information before it's actually publicly released. That's why the information's about a year behind. So if you ask it what the latest and greatest processor, for example, is, it's not going to be the 2024 standard. It's going to be the standard of whenever its data was last introduced. Don't ever assume complete accuracy with anything on the internet. Always trust, but verify. And if you can't verify, then don't use the information. It will be hard to use ChatGPT for unethical purposes. There are some workarounds, but I will not cover those in this lesson. I'm not using technology to hurt anybody. I want it to be a tool that everybody can use to do some good for yourself, for somebody around you, or both. Privacy concerns are always a thing, so you don't want to plug in passwords or sensitive information about yourself or anybody else. ChatGPT is a tool, just like a screwdriver or a hammer. Do not try to abuse the tool, otherwise it can hurt you. So with that being said, before we get into the use of it, if you have any questions and you would like to chime in, by all means, you're welcome to use the meeting chat, or you can unmute and ask the question before we get started. And so far, I've got nobody.
What, you know,
Go ahead.
I'm gonna say something. What is the difference between this and Google? Because I ask Google everything I need to know.
That's a great question. So if you go to Google, you're going to go search for something. So for example, if I were to go to ChatGPT, and I'll tell you what, let's just jump right into it. And we'll do this together. Let me see if I can share. I'm going to share the ChatGPT screen next. So let's jump right into how to sign in. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to find your favorite browser. In this case, not my favorite, but one that's here by default is going to be Microsoft Edge. And you're going to see we're going to walk right past Microsoft Copilot. We're not going to be using Copilot, but we will be covering Copilot later. And the way we log in is chat.openai.com. Now, if you do not have an account, I encourage you to click the sign up button and create this account. It's free, takes you about 2 minutes to do. When you fill out the form, it's going to send you a text. It's going to send you an email. Click the links to verify. Jump through the hoops. It should take you no more than 5 minutes at the absolute most. We've already got our account created, so we're just going to jump right in. So I am signed into my account, and you're going to see that this is a new account. We've got no chats in here, and we are using the free model. We don't have the ChatGPT 4 loaded on this account. We don't have DALL-E loaded in this account, and there's some data analytics. But let's go right for the chat, the OpenAI ChatGPT. Let's go right for the something we'd want to ask Google. How's the weather in Cleveland today? Now I'm gonna select this by highlighting it, and I'm gonna copy this because we're gonna ask Google the same question, and this will be great because you'll see ChatGPT is gonna say, I'm sorry, I don't have real-time capability, so it can't give me that information. Whereas if I go to Google and I ask the same question, it gives me a real-time answer. So we know right now it's 48 degrees Celsius. It's Tuesday. We know that the winds right now are 24. It's 25% chance of precipitation. So that's where some things differ right now. There are some things coming with a lot of the OpenAI ChatGPT, with a lot of the other artificial intelligence platforms that are coming, you're going to see that there's going to be a lot more lifetime integration coming. So that's why that's one difference in using ChatGPT over a Google search. I'm going to delete my chat and I'm going to start over with another chat. I'm going to get business minded for a second. And let's say I need to create a form for my customer, for my customers to fill out to fill out. Now, we haven't specified very much. And it's giving me code that I can paste into a website. Not quite the type of form that I wanted. So I'm going to tell it I want a form that can be printed. So it's still giving me a form that can be used through a website, which I don't want. That's not what, that's a little more advanced on the average user. Wow, it's giving me an answer like it's got a fever. So let's start over because I don't like these answers. I don't like these answers for me. I mean, even from an IT standpoint, even as a owner of a computer repair business, I don't like the answer. I'm starting over. Create a Word document like form that I can give to customers when they come in to my store. I would like for them to give me basic information. So this would be the kind of form that I was looking for. So this I can take out of here and I can paste into a Word document, which I don't have Microsoft Word installed here, but that's okay. So I'm going to highlight all this, right click, go to copy, and then I'll go into WordPad or Notepad. And then I can right click and then paste. And then there's a form that I can print and people can fill out. And then I can do something with it. So I'm not going to save this. I don't need it. But let's say I want to ask the customer about the problem with their computer. So I'm going to ask it to recreate that form, and it's going to give me some more information like the computer make, model, a brief description of the issue. When did it start occurring? And I don't think I ever need somebody's date of birth, so I can go through and remove some of this stuff. How would you like us to contact you? So this is all things that is being generated by artificial intelligence. So if I go over here, I can rename this chat business information. So let's say I want to start a new chat, but I want to save this one so I can come back later. If I click on new chat, a new chat window opens. And then I can ask a question like, who invented the light bulb? So Thomas Edison invented the light bulb in 1879. Write me a paper to present to my 7th grade class on the invention of the light bulb. And even though I've got a misspelling there, it still understands what I'm looking for. So now it's giving me pretty much the entire paper, the entire presentation that I want to give. Hello, classmates. Today I'm excited to share with you a fascinating journey behind the invention of the most revolutionary train, the light bulb. So it gives you kind of a very detailed view of this. Now, you say, okay, that's fine and dandy, but is that pre-trained? Is that something that's pre-trained? No, the knowledge base is pre-trained, but it's also pre-trained uh, to write in different styles. So tell me about the light bulb like a Dr. Seuss book. And now it will write that again, but it will be in a Dr. Seuss like in the wording of a Dr. Seuss book, which obviously is entertaining. In the world of shadows, dark and deep, a quest for light, we couldn't sleep. Candles flickered oh so small, but something brighter, we need it all. So it now is giving you information in the style of Dr. Seuss for that same paper. So let's go in a different direction here. Teach me about algebra. Three and five are the consonants, the expression. So it shows you how to do algebra. But let's back it down a little because I'm not a mathematician, as I said earlier. Solve this problem. 5 plus 5 minus 5 times 5 divided by 5, and then in parentheses, 5 equals what? So we do what's in parentheses first, so 5, then the exponents. And I do believe that is the right answer. So here's how we verify this. We copy this, and we go out to our trusty Google machine, google.com, and we paste in the exact same question, and we press enter. Well, that's interesting. Trust but verify. So this person thinks, well, that's a little bit of a different question too. I think it interpreted my question a little bit differently though, because it added parentheses where I didn't have them. So while this video is going on, if anybody in the front of the house here is watching, I'm going to ask them to do some research and find out what the answer to that question is. I do believe that it is 5, but like I said, I'm no math expert here. So let me switch over and start a new chat. Convert this message from English to German. Welcome to weldonpc.com. We hope you are having a wonderful day. So, trust but verify. What does this actually say? Let's head on over to Google. We'll use Google Translate. So it's detecting that we're in German. Welcome to Weldon PC. We hope you have a wonderful day. So we can verify that this indeed does say, welcome to Weldon PC. We hope you have a wonderful day. And I have exchanged emails with somebody in Germany using ChatGPT as my means by which to convert English to German, German to English, and so on and so forth. And I do verify most of my emails. I don't want to offend anybody, so you never know if something is wrong, and you want to make sure that ChatGPT doesn't have a fever. And I do say this frequently, but sometimes ChatGPT does, or OpenAI, the parent company of ChatGPT, has a system outage. So there are times where you could ask what 1 + 1 is, and it will tell you it's 14. And then it will, if you go back in and ask it to break it down, it will break down why it thinks 1 + 1 is 14, and it will make sense to somebody who has a 104-degree fever. So I do say that ChatGPT occasionally has a fever because it really does act like it has a fever. So 1 + 1 = 2. Square root of 144 should be 12. So there's just a couple things to throw at it. Let's get philosophical. What is the meaning of life? So it spits out quite a bit of information about how it would want you, the reader, to interpret that question. What is, let's go a different direction. Tell me a story from the standpoint of someone with hmm trying to think of a way to put us into a psychological change here. Um, I can't spell a word in my head. Schizophrenia, I was close. And I think it will actually output this. And it may not output that. So you can ask it questions about putting yourself in somebody else's shoes and kind of walking around as if there was, if you, what would it be like if you had schizophrenia walking around the city block? Um, and it's a very interesting story that it comes up with. And I'm kind of leaving that open-ended for the next. Tell me, let's have an interactive story. I am a game show host. And let's leave it at that. What advice or hints will provide you as they embark on the quest? So, a game show contestant faints, and let's see what happens. So it kind of gives you the ability of stepping in and acting as the character of the story. So this is some of the applications you can use ChatGPT for. And obviously that's just from my mindset. I'll give you another. My car, I drive a 2007 Honda Elite, no, Element. And the steering is making a knocking noise when I turn to the left. So it could be a couple different things: loose tie rod ends, worn ball joints, faulty steering rack and pinion, loose damaged sway bar links. What is the cost of these repairs? So it'll give you an average of what it would cost you to take those in to have those fixed. So there's another application you may want to use this for. If you're still listening and you want to throw something in that you'd like to ask ChatGPT, feel free to unmute or chime in. And we could give this a whirl. While I'm waiting on anybody to unmute or type a message, give me 10 ideas on how to use ChatGPT. So content generation is good for websites. Language translation, which I've shown. Coding assistance. I'm not going to get into the coding assistance. It's not something a lot of people that are watching this are really going to be into. Educational support's great. Customer support, we kind of did that with the steering and knocking noise in the Honda. Interactive storytelling. Personal assistant. This isn't really the best for personal assistant. That's a Google or Alexa thing. That's a lot better for that right now. Language learning, as I showed. Medical information retrieval. So if you plug in a bunch of the information you might have from like a My Chart, for example, this can give you a more basic, refined. You tell it to explain it to you like a fifth grader, and it will. I hate to say dumb down because they use a lot of advanced vernacular when you read some of your reports, and it's hard to understand sometimes. This will tell you, hey, you got a boo-boo on your knee or something, instead of giving you all the technical stuff. Idea generation session. So that's 10 things that ChatGPT told me that I could use ChatGPT for. So that's kind of what it can be used for in a nutshell. So does anybody have any questions before we continue? All right. I'm going to switch back over to our PowerPoint. So bear with me for just a second. So before we conclude, does anybody have any questions about the use of ChatGPT or artificial intelligence using a free account? If you do, feel free to open it up in the chat, unmute and chime in. And just a reminder, if you ever have any computer problems, if you ever need websites, if you ever have any computers you need recycled or an organization that you're involved with needs recycled, you can call Weldon PC at 888-7-WELDON. That's 888-793-5366. We're open noon to 8 Monday through Friday, closed on the weekends. And we don't have anybody unmuted. Nobody in the chat. I want to thank everybody for joining. We'll be here next week on Tuesday. Feel free to visit weldonpc.com/class and sign up for our next class. And if there's anything you want to see added in the future, send me an email, shoot me a phone call, and we'll get your idea on the schedule and show you how we can make it work. Thanks for joining, everybody. Have a great day.